Okay, finally, we're talking ayahuasca. Let's get into it. Here's the quote of the day. I came of an age I came of age at a magical time. Our consciousness was raised by Zen and also by LSD. Taking LSD was a profound experience, one of the most important things in my life. LSD shows you that there's another side to the coin, and you can't remember it when it wears off, but you know it. It reinforced my sense of what was important. Guess who that came from? Mr. Steve Jobs. Believe it or not, he accredits a lot of his success and enlightenment to LSD. And I can confirm, we're talking ayahuasca. You will see the other side of the coin, but a little bit different than LSD. You will remember it. And not only will you remember it, you will feel it in your bones after it's over. So, before I get into that, I'd like to start with a quick tip of the day. And that one is actually go check out my website. I'll show you here. It's at scottnickel.com. Right there at the top. Hey, check it out. And I just wrote a very long and thorough, I call it a complete guide to ayahuasca. I really truly don't think there's anything like it out there. And I write these things because I hope they are useful. So Scott, SCOTTR, Nickel, NICOLL.com. You can read it, complete guide. It answers pretty much every question I had and every question I think you have if you're thinking about doing it, how to do it, where you can do it. I don't really list too many of the places because I did it down in Peru, but there are plenty of options. You can do it. I'm still more of a fan of going to do that abroad in places where it's traditional, but I know it's making its way into the States and becoming more mainstream, so finding the right place is kind of tricky. But let's carry on. So the other tip of the day, I was also thinking this when I just went for my walk, is routines, right? Like, I'm big on routines. I'm obsessing about it. Again, I've got it all printed out for a morning routine, and sticking to it can change your life. However, I'm realizing, even for me, and it just doesn't work all day every day, and if you try to force it, it's not great. So instead of taking a day off, why not have 2 or 3 different routines? So one routine that's like the main one, and then when you really are having like low energy, have an alternative routine that you can fall back on, so you don't have to think of anything. It's just there. So, like, for example, I like to exercise every single day and meditate, but maybe if a day's really bad, like not even bad, or today got really busy, I just went for a walk in the evening and I counted that. So have a different kind of routine or slots. You can put different things like exercise or meditation or, eating healthy. Okay, let's get right into it. The topics. The first one is puking. Are you going to puke? Also known as purging. In the article, I think my article is informative and entertaining, and I talk about purging quite a bit in the first 2 questions. And I will say this: yes, you're going to puke, but don't be afraid. The first ceremony I did 3 ceremonies in a row. Shows you my personality. I struggled to puke or purge, and it got in my head, and then I know like the guide was trying to help me relax and to drink water, and then the shaman came over and he was like chanting. I didn't look. I didn't want to open my eyes because I was like out of my mind, but he was right there next to me just chanting. And I asked later, after we do like a debriefing the next day, and he was like, yeah, Mother Ayahuasca was talking to him and just telling him to get me to purge. So anyways, I was holding on to it, but they informed me later that it feels good, and once you get it out, you can relax into it. And I can confirm this is very true. It sounds scary because we all have this thing of like, oh, puking is so bad. We all have like a negative connotation or feeling towards it, right? Like, it was probably because you drank too much, or you were sick, or food poisoning, or something like that. But in this case, it's useful. And I talk about it again in the article. You're going to purge one way or another. That's all I'll say. How long does it last? Many people ask me that, is how long does it last? You'll read online 4 to 6 hours, but I'll be a little bit more specific. I will say about 4.5 hours specifically. Let's say the first 20 to 30 minutes, it's hitting you, you're getting warm, fuzzy, you're starting to see colors, things are moving, you're like starting to feel a little this in that 20 to 30 minute range, and however long that lasts. And then from there, about 4 hours of ooh, I'm trying to be better with my words on this one, is 4 hours of just a different dimension. Like you really go somewhere else. And I talk about this in my article too. You will lose your mind, but you also have some semblance of control. Again, the next like 4 or 5 days, I'm going to be making videos on this because I think it helps me talk. It's great for me to kind of revamp and go over the feelings and everything that I felt. And I might even post some of my actual notes so you can see like some of the kind of crazy stuff. I want to really put everything out there. So people who are worried aren't so worried, or people who are worried maybe should be worried. It will depend. But yeah, let's say, so then 4 hours, you just go to a different dimension. And then there's like an hour where you kind of snap back into it. Like you'll open your eyes again and be like, whoa, okay, I'm still alive, but what just happened? And then you kind of want to close your eyes again and you'll kind of float away for a little bit longer. And like, you'll kind of feel it like leaving your body and leaving your mind and consciousness, and you'll kind of be letting it go but holding on. And so we'll say about like 5 hours in, you kind of like, you're back in the world, and then you're kind of drifting. So at that point, I know on my third ceremony I was exhausted. I had 3 in a row, so I went up around the 5 hour mark. I know the other guy stayed up for like 3 or 4 more hours, but he said he wasn't really losing his mind. He was just comfortable and just kind of slept there for a little bit and was kind of processing things. So people handle it in different ways. Yeah, or maybe it wasn't like 3 or 4 more hours. I went up around 11:30. He stayed till about 1, so another hour and a half. And I know I did that on the first night where I just kind of kept like holding on to it. So there are different kinds of time frames and everybody will be different. But for the most part, it's 30 minutes of kind of letting it get into you, and then 4 hours of just 4 to 4.5 hours of straight madness. Again, great description, eh, Scott? Let's see. And then, will it change you? Okay, this is really the big question. This is probably what you're here for. If you even listened this long, I'm trying to make these short. This will be like 10 to 12 minutes. If you've made it this long, will it change you? Yes, it will, but not really. I hate to be so cryptic and stuff like that, but I'm also against kind of the internet these days because everyone's like, oh man, it's so spiritual. It's going to change your life and everything. If you think you're just going to show up to a place, you're going to drink it, you're going to go like on this crazy trip, and then your whole life is going to change, it's not going to happen like that at all. What the way I try to explain it in the article is this, and I hope I explain it better here, is when you drink it and you go on that 4 hour ride, it is so real and so vivid, and you see like yourself. I don't know what you'll see, but most likely you'll see some childhood memories, because we all have the same kind of shit going on in here. So you'll see childhood memories, you'll see problems, you might see fights you've had, and you'll see it in this weird kind of contorted way of like colors and shapes. And I had like gears, like they were like laughing at me, and then like, I could see myself as a child like getting yelled at. It was just all these kind of crazy things, but it feels and looks so real, like you can sense it and you feel it, and all the while you're just laying on a mat like this. It's wild. So you'll have this like powerful memory that you get. So then after, like the days after, of course, you'll still feel kind of high because of like the serotonin effect that happens from the mix. I'm not going to get into like the DMT and the MAO inhibitor type stuff, but you'll have this powerful memory, and that memory will give you, it's like answers. So it's this ball of answers, like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, this is what I really always wanted. And it's like all the dust is removed and all the mud and the shit. And it's like, here's your answer. And then it's up to you to really go do the changing, right? Like it sounds cliche, but you're going to have one of the like most pristine, crystalline memories right there that just came out of the depths of your mind, and you have it, but will you use it? Again, not trying to be cryptic, but that's it. I'm just so afraid people are going to go and be like, oh, I drank it and like it was spiritual and it was cleansing and everything was all removed and life became perfect and all my illnesses and diseases and my marriage was good again and my relationships were great. I hate to be a realist sometimes, but that's not how it works. You will get realizations. You will get answers. You hear it from everybody who shared it online and people I talk to, and they get this clarity, but it's also what you kind of do with it, right? Because I'm almost like 6 weeks, 7 weeks off of doing it, maybe. Yeah, about 6, 7 weeks away from doing it. So it's kind of like it doesn't fade, but the first days after that, wow, yeah, you're still like buzzing, you're just flying high. But then you go back into reality and life, and the power of it is every time you think about it, like talking about it now, I can remember myself lying on the mat. I can remember and feel the memories of like, whoa, this is what's important in life. I need to be more empathetic. I need to love more. And like, I got a tattoo that says like, just smile more. The first one was like all about feeling, getting out of my head and feeling life. Right. But of course, as life goes on, you could easily forget that, get caught up in the day to day. And like, of course, sometimes I forget these things. So it becomes a practice and you have this powerful memory. I hope that makes sense. It's like when you were a kid and you just have this really vivid memory of like when you were a kid, and it becomes something so powerful, like a part of your identity. If you let it and you give meaning to it the right way, maybe you have a childhood memory that you gave bad meaning to, right? This one, you're going to see some crazy shit. And then you get to give it meaning. And because of the DMT and the MAO, the mixture, DMT for hallucination, MAO for the serotonin effect, which is supposed to make you happy. So that's supposed to be a pretty good combination. And I will say this, I've read online of people like dancing in the moonlight and screaming and crying and all this stuff. All I'm going to say is the amount I gave us was quite sizable. I couldn't move. I had to raise my hand to go to the bathroom, walking with like two people kind of holding me up. I didn't get into it in this guide that I wrote, but on my second night, I had an incident where I like went in the bathroom. I didn't like the light. I shut it off, and then whack, I was out. I like woke up and I was on the floor of the bathroom. So it's like that. People like moving around, walking, dancing. Ooh, I don't know. I was incapacitated. So was the other person with me. So I think it depends also on the amount they give you. And I know some people, they do a second cup. I think we did like the 2 cups right in the beginning, or the 2 size of cups. I know maybe people do smaller. I don't know exactly. And I can't speak for everything and everyone everywhere, but I share my experience and how the kind of mixture of stories I've heard. Okay, the final bit, 13 minutes in, I'll leave it here. Should you do it? I'll say this now, if you have any serious mental conditions or you take like antidepressants or things like that, probably no. I would stay away from that, or it can be dangerous. This is also not to get high. This is truly, if you are stuck in life and you're looking for kind of that next level or that next answer, and I don't think you should go in looking for like 20 different kinds of answers. This is more of like the who are you type of thing. And it's just those, it's like, what were these curtains that are just in front of my eyes right now, or for most of my life, like childhood type stuff, or some questions you have from your past. Yeah, I think there's a ton of value in that. Really, the best way I could say it are 2 ways. I wrote in the article, and it was this first night, the guide came over and he's like, are you okay? Are you seeing any visions? Because I was just smiling the whole time, and I was like, I think it should be called Mother Answers. And I just said that a few times, and like it stuck with me of like, that's how I felt. It was just this overflow of like all these. I'm a very curious fellow. I like to try a lot of different things, insanely curious. And I just got all these answers. And the second is, if you want the answers, yes, I forgot what I was going to say, to be honest. But yeah, you should do it if you want the answers to really any question. Or that was the other part of like, I felt like I had curtains just removed, and I could be like, oh my God, this is what's important to me and the value I want to bring to the world. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to talk about this the next couple days. Like tomorrow will be my day 1 experience, and then day 2 and day 3, and then maybe I'll talk about that 4th day and kind of how I felt right after. And then I recorded a video today on this lovely guy, DJI Osmo Action 4, but I'm still learning how to edit. I like moved it over, but I didn't have time to edit it today, so I'll do that tomorrow. Simplify your life. Don't overthink things, and always do what you say you're going to do. Peace.